Hello and welcome to another edition of the One Team We Agree On. I'm Jillian.
Yeah, I'm Kyle. How are you doing today?
Ich bin müde.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
back to
I'm tired.
back to first day of teaching, first day of practice.
Yeah, back to coaching, back to teaching. It was all at once. And yeah, getting up early, just it ain't it.
Well, we thank you guys for tuning in and listening. At the time this recording should be dropping today, which is we're recording Monday night on Tuesday. So, a lot to talk about after taking a week off, kind of just had vacation. I kind of got a little sick and things didn't line up, but we are back to talk some Union and Union 2.
Yes. Yeah, we have lots to talk about. There's been a lot of matches lately, so
Yeah,
yeah.
we got some things, but again, we thank everybody for tuning in. And big victory for Philadelphia Union on Saturday against the Chicago Fire. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into talking a little bit about some recent struggles with Union 2 here the last couple matches, but just kind of draw some positives from that if we can, but also just kind of look ahead for them. And talk a little bit about some of the transfers. We are going to get into Pierce Holbrook a little bit and
Mhm.
his injury. But before we get started, what are we wearing today?
Well, it was Fiesta Hispana on Saturday for the Union. So I wore last year's Hispanic Heritage top, which I really like. And so yeah, I really like um the warm-up top they put out that they were in the last two games, I guess. But the one they put out this year was pretty awesome. But yeah, last year, big fan of that one.
I was going to wear a Las Vegas shirt. If you're listening, I'm wearing just a red shirt. It is my white work shirt. It literally came home.
You're wearing red, Kyle. What the
I
heck?
know, right? And literally was going through some checks here before we started recording. And yeah, by the time we're all ready to go, I was like, oh, I don't have time to go change my shirt. So it's getting kind of late. Want to get this
Hmm.
recorded. So yeah, I'm just wearing my Y shirt from coaching today. So anyway, where can people find us?
Okay, first of all, find us wherever you get your podcasts. Also, we have our website, theoneteamweagreeon.com. We have our YouTube channel, The One Team We Agree On. Also, we're on socials at TOTWAG on Twitter and Blue Sky. We are on Facebook and Instagram at The One Team We Agree On. Individually, you can find me at silly double underscore Jilly on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm at Jillian Almany on Blue Sky, and Kyle can be found at Coach Almany on all of those platforms.
Yeah, before we get started, we're kind of pivot a little bit from the show notes. So I kind of want to dive into just a little bit of the transfer recap. Um, summer window is now officially closed.
Hmm.
You did make some moves. Obviously we brought on Milan Iloski, who has been very positive, and we'll talk a lot about Milan tonight. But also some departures
Yes.
during this window. Obviously, we knew about David, we knew about CJ, but you need to go out and loan out Oliver Zemla
At the most unfortunate
fortunate
time.
time after Andre Blake's injury against the Red Bulls
Yes.
last Saturday, which
We haven't even recorded since all of that either.
yeah, but
I
we
mean, if you want, I mean, honestly,
go check out
check out Todd's, yeah, just check out the free kick. Because Todd was with us there and it's all we jumped in on some of the conversation. But like, yeah, definitely check out his. And if you didn't hear about the whole mascot thing,
yeah.
popping in during the press conference, that whole thing was wild. And Todd talks all about it on that too. And I know I tweeted about it. So, um, but yeah, we're far enough past that. Like, yeah, we're not going to dwell on that. And it was a crappy loss. Um, but yeah, it was also just an evening of weird stuff with that press conference
It,
with the mascot. That was
it
different. But
it really was, but Oliver going back to USL where he had success.
mhm,
Um, So, played a game here this past Saturday when they played Las Vegas Lights.
mhm.
Um, and North Carolina won 2-1. So Oliver getting some action. So
Yeah.
that's a good move.
Yeah, he needs
And
playing time.
he needs playing time. And honestly, at the end of the day, he's sitting third there. And
You said it. That's
You
one.
know,
Count of one.
goalie on international roster slot that's not playing. It's
Yeah.
a win-win. He's going to go back there.
Yeah, just the timing was unfortunate.
Yeah, for sure.
But it, yeah.
For sure. And obviously with Pierce now, and we'll talk about that in a second. You know, do the Union recall them? Probably not. I mean, the kid, he wants playing time, let him play, you know.
Yeah.
Um, Also, in terms of other news, Union 2 added a young player on loan
Yeah.
from Atlanta United too. That's Caden Moore, center back. We got to see Caden on
Yeah,
Sunday.
yep, he made his Union 2 debut. I saw him at training last week. He really hasn't been there long. And Ryan Richter told me when I asked how Caden was doing when I talked to him at training on Friday that, yeah, just like with the schedule, he didn't have that much of a chance to get some of the real, um, full field kind of training going on with them and things that they do. So, but he was fitting in and we'll talk about the game, of course, the Union 2 game, but yeah, we did get to see him make his debut on
Yeah, we
Sunday.
did. And also, in a little addition, Union did right by
Jacob Glesnes.
yeah, they extended well, he signed a new contract
Yeah.
through 2027 with the club option through 2028.
Yeah, and after last year where it was more of a struggle, it was great to see him have a great season so far, make the All-Star game,
Hmm.
having a really nice season. And so this contract definitely is, looks like it's deserved.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day,
That's two.
I'm really happy
Yeah.
to see the Union, reward Jacob. I think some people were thinking maybe they move off of him.
Hmm.
Obviously, Ernst and company decided not to. Um,
Hmm.
but hey, we'll see what happens. And I mean, no other additions to roster heading into the playoffs. I mean, no center back, but hey, they're building up for the off season. That's the
Yeah.
important thing. I know Union Shield Hunt, US Open Cup. And it's fair to, I don't know. I hope maybe they would add something more there, but obviously
Bradley said
things,
they were okay with what they had,
yeah,
basically.
things didn't work out or they were just happy and hey, move on.
And then nothing's been confirmed officially, but I think it's pretty telling since he wasn't in the lineup and everything we've been told. Isaiah LaFleur rumored to be going on loan to Detroit City FC in the USL Championship.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
once we hear official confirmation, we'll comment on that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
but he wasn't in the lineup for Union
no,
too,
so
and
take that
so
for what it is.
yeah.
And yeah, I mean, again, just like Oliver, just like Davi, just like CJ, another opportunity for these guys to
Mhm.
play, and you want to see that.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
moving on. Yeah, let's talk about Pierce Holbrook.
Yeah. So
Uh,
unfortunate.
it is. It is very unfortunate. Here was a guy that because of the loan to Oliver, with Andre being out, Andrew Ricks started, you needed a backup. And
Yeah.
Pierce, finally got his call up, and we'll talk,
Yeah.
share some comments. I do have a comment here from Ryan Richter, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was interesting.
So basically, yeah, just I wasn't even out of the concourse yet. And then I see a message from one of our friends. I go up in the section and people are like, someone says to me, it's like, do you have Mike Sheridan's number? And I'm like, no, I'm like, what happened? And they're like, yeah, Pierce got hurt during warm up, non-contact injury to his knee. And, going into this with with Andre Blake being hurt and Oliver Zemla getting loaned out, it was pretty much like, okay, well, you have Pierce, you have Mike Sheridan at Union 2, obviously to back up Andrew Rick, and Bradley had made it sound like, yeah, it's going to be Pierce.
Mhm.
And I asked Ryan about this opportunity for Mike and for Pierce, and he said, these kind of opportunities, you can get an opportunity that changes your life, and the thing is, just so excited for Pierce, and then this is so unfortunate. It's just heartbreaking. He's a good guy. I interviewed him. If you haven't checked it out on our website, go see the interview I did with Pierce Holbrook, and it's interesting hearing about his journey, but hoping that he has a speedy recovery. I've with that, you know, we haven't had the official word yet.
Yeah, there's been no official word. We'll
Yeah.
wait to hear
So,
what Carnell has said,
yeah.
but there's a lot of things going around as to what they are.
Yeah. So,
But yeah, we'll talk about that. But before we do, I did ask Andrew Rick, he was available post match. I did want to, because I know they've trained together. Um, and so here's what Andrew had to say.
It hurts a lot to see a guy go down like that. I think I'm not. It was towards the end of his warm up, so 2 more minutes and it just doesn't happen. And to see that, it's really tough for him. And had the pleasure of training with him now for a few months, and he's a really great guy and he works really hard. So for him to get this opportunity and like that, it's really tough. And this clean sheet isn't just for me as well. It's not just me. It's also him and Phil as well, and Mike. Like, we all work together and push each other. So the work that he does on the training field, along with everybody else, like, helps me. And to see him go down, like, it just gives us all that extra motivation, to win this game, get a clean sheet for him.
So yeah, I mean, that was the big thing right there.
yeah.
He's come along. We've seen the growth and development watching him with Union too.
I saw him training actually with Rick, with Mike Sheridan. Those three were out training on Friday with the first team, and you know,
So,
yeah.
I mean, well, again, we're going to wait for official confirmation. Um, we did find out that Nathan Harriel was, according to Bradley, the official designated
Emergency
emergency
keeper.
keeper. So,
I mean, what can't Nate Harriel do? Let's be real. I mean,
exactly.
the man can play any position clearly, as we've found out. We've yet
But
to see him at striker, but everything else, I swear, striker and goalie are the only things we haven't seen him play, I think.
no, and I think honestly that for the Union looking forward, Bradley said post match that, obviously the window's closed. So do they look in the goalkeeper pool? I know if you haven't listened to Todd, he kind of, and on the free kick, he kind of goes into that. But do they
Hmm.
look at that? Somebody in the goalkeeper pool. Do they look at Mike Sheridan?
Hmm.
It's interesting. Do they look at some of these academy players? I mean, we'd love to hear what you guys think. So comment if you're listening, or let us know. Tweet at us. But yeah, I mean, I would be shocked if they don't explore some things, and they definitely seem like they're going to look at some options for
Yeah.
like hardships and stuff like that. So we'll see.
Yeah, and of course it definitely depends on also how long is Andre going to be out. And like the thing is, this coming weekend, both teams are in Cincinnati, so that makes it a little easier to go between the two.
Yeah, because you
But
could have Mike as
right.
backup.
And so, but then they go on the road. Uh, they have Vancouver, they have the Open Cup, those things. So hopefully Andre is back soon. But I will say this, if Mike Sheridan gets chance to be back up for a first team game,
Mhm.
be thrilled for him. And, guy from literally right by the stadium and see him get that opportunity. Mike's a good dude. So, you know,
Yeah, at the end of the day, we're going to just, best wishes on
mhm.
a speedy recovery.
Yeah.
Once we hear to Pierce, and
Yep.
hope uh, hope everything works out with the healing, because love to see him back again
Yeah,
because
he
he
was
was
doing
making
great.
great. So you just hope the best. But moving on, I do want to touch a little
Did
bit.
you have any other quote? I thought you had another quote from
Uh,
about.
No, I don't
Okay,
have
okay,
anything. No,
okay,
no other quotes.
okay.
Kind of pivoting here because we want to kind of move
Yeah,
along. Union 2 Weekly, kind of talk a little bit about the Union Two's performance. They've been kind of dropping some points
yeah, they've been in rut.
recently. But they played this past Wednesday against who was it? Toronto FC 2,
Yeah,
and they drew 2-2, lost on PKs. At least they pick up a point.
yeah, they had a 2-1 lead, and then they gave the equalizer, and yeah, they go to PKs and lose that, unfortunately.
Yeah, Kellen LeBlanc and Jordan Griffith with the goals. Jordan,
Yeah, shout out Jordan,
yeah,
first professional goal. And, so great job by him. And, he had a nice header there. Kellen had, real nice goal on his. This was again, of course, Ryan said about, well, the strikers aren't scoring goals. Basically, he needs to see more goals from the strikers.
Mm-hmm.
This was, a midfielder and a defender that scored in that match. And it's just, you want to see more from the strikers.
No, and that's been kind of thing. I mean, we'll talk about it in a bit, but even yesterday, Eddie Davis has that shot and it hits the
Yeah.
top of the thing, bounces in, hits the line, bounces right out. I mean,
Can you say snake bitten?
and then again, Sal has a great chance and gets blocked. I mean, they just have been struggling to create goal scoring. And here
Yeah.
again, I mean, again, we're getting all these goal scores just like the first team, which is
Yeah.
phenomenal. It is phenomenal, but you do need to see
Like 17 different goal scores went with Jordan's goal.
So that was unfortunate, but they still had the opportunity heading into yesterday's match
yeah.
against a very difficult New England team, which you were down at training with Ryan on Friday, and he basically said it was a must win.
Yeah, and basically, he was pointing out that that New England, they're a little older, they're very physical. It's going to be a tough match, and when they need to go and win, get a good result there. But the thing about that is it was actually their first game of the season. They were at New England. They drew 0-0 and then lost in PKs. And then back in June, they had a home game against New England and they tied 2-2. And then it went to PKs, which they won. And I believe Pierce was actually the goalkeeper in that, and he had like a save on it. And so 2 draws previously in the season. But then this one is just the first half. Oh Lord.
Yeah, it was not good.
Yeah, not good. It went from bad to worse.
It really did. I mean, the first goal was okay, that kind of happened. Let's see how they respond.
Butts with the goal, and then
I mean, their top goal scorer
Yeah.
scores. There's nothing you could do there. Kind of poor defensive play.
and the thing is, at the first half, like up until that point, it was Union 2 getting more of the chances.
Two once again had
Yeah.
a couple chances early
Yeah.
on that match
Yep.
to get an early goal. They just couldn't create. They couldn't finish.
And then it was like the 34th minute, I think, or so, and that first goal happens for New England. And it was their first shot,
Yeah.
basically, too. It was their first one on target for sure, but they hadn't really gotten many shots. And yeah, so they get that. But then the second goal,
And
that was bad. It was a long ball from New England, kicked down, and it deflects off Neal's head. He deflects it into the Union's goal, like just.
well, it was more Mike and him.
And
You watched the ball, Mike.
Yeah,
They were
making
having
more.
miscommunication.
Yeah,
So going back and watched that goal a couple times, like people were clipping it. It just seems like there was a miscommunication.
yeah, and even Mike said like that they both got to do better.
And that just comes back to Mike needed to stay back, and he knows that. And it's him not playing and Neal doing that. But Neal was struggling that day because then 2 minutes later, he gets pushed down. You can say that was a push.
I
And
mean, yeah, it looked like it should have been probably called a foul, but it wasn't, and you got to get up.
yeah, and because of that,
It was
he
an easy
subbed.
goal for them.
Yeah, it was an easy goal, and he subbed out at half. And Ryan said that was a poor performance. And
Yeah, and uncharacteristic because Neal's been so good.
but I don't know what it is. Here's his opportunity now that you did not get a center back, and I'll say it, like you have not shown that you deserve minutes with performances like that.
Yeah, I mean, he has so much potential. He has a world of talent, and I've been like banging the drum for, hey, I'd love
We
to see
all-
Neal get a shot with the first team, but that performance didn't show that he's ready
Yeah,
for
and I
that.
think Ryan would even say that, like you don't deserve that chance. And again, this is just my opinion. Like I do think he deserves a chance,
Oh,
even
like-
regardless.
Yeah,
But this doesn't help.
he's a tremendous player, but just that performance, looking at it, shows, he still has a lot to learn too.
Absolutely. So
He is a teenager still. Let's
So-
remember that.
that's what Ryan Richter had to say about the performance.
I was very disappointed. Very disappointed in the energy that we played with the decision making, with the body language, and with the way that we behaved as a team. I was really disappointed. It's something that I didn't think I would see from this group, but it's kind of been building over the last few weeks. So that was the
that was the end of it, I guess. And what you get is 3-0 at halftime at home. That's what you get when that's what it looks like. So, yeah, it was. I mean, look, it was a better response in the second half, definitely. You know, and Malik, he has a knack for he's in the right spot at the right time, and he's quick to react to things, and that's a great skill set for a forward. But yeah, I was so mad at the first half and the way the warm up, the way we approached the game, everything, that I couldn't be so happy with the second half. You know,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I would love to have been a fly on the wall at halftime. But
I think a lot of people would. I think you mentioned that to you,
yeah,
but
they came out so much better in the second half, but it was too little too late. Like yeah.
and
Malik gets the goal like in the 90th minute, which great goal.
I mean, Sal gets his shot blocked, the
Yep.
ball deflects, and Malik's there to finish it.
And did he ever finish it? I mean, that thing
was
was roofed.
Yeah, but I mean, so good for Malik for his 7th of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. With Caden came in.
And Gabe did a solid job.
Jameer came in, Willie came in, all those guys came in and they contributed right away.
Yeah.
So much better half, obviously, for New England side. You know, when you're up 3-0, you're just trying to prevent and not blow a lead. But hey, I think and Sal came in, and I thought Sal was okay again. But here again, these last couple matches, ever since they got punched in the mouth by
Well, it all started going downhill with Carolina Core with that game.
True.
Like, that's when it kind of started, but the Red Bull game, that really just
yeah, they haven't been the same. And
yeah.
you could say Carolina Core, that was just an away game and
Yeah.
sort of thing. But I did ask Mike Sheridan because I was curious about something just about this young team. And we asked it
Yeah.
too. With all these loans like David, CJ, Kevin, even though he played yesterday, has been primarily with the first team.
And he played with the first team Saturday, and he actually did really well with the first team. He basically was a big factor in that goal with Milan, Iloski.
Yeah.
He crossed the ball there pretty good. But Kevin wasn't as much of a factor in the Union 2 game. I mean, he did okay. But
there again, you're coming down from the first team
Mhm.
and you're this highly like I felt like he didn't do anything that was so egregious or like didn't seem like he didn't care.
Yeah.
But you hope when he comes down that he makes an impact. And yesterday, outside maybe 1 or 2 chances, he really didn't make an impact.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we got some great comments from Mike Sheridan. By the way, shout out to Mike Sheridan. It was his birthday.
yeah.
So
here is Mike Sheridan.
Yeah, I think, we have a young group, and, we're all learning. There's a lot of young guys, and they're learning, and I think as they go, and it's an adjustment. Coming from the academy to a more professional environment, you kind of got to feel your way out, and they're doing things that, maybe worked in the academy but won't work now. So it's an adjustment, especially with the team. Like, we're losing guys, things are changing all the time. So it's something you just got to be prepared, and it's just a little bit different of an environment for those guys. But it's good that this is happening now before the playoff push, and I think when that comes around, hopefully we've learned some lessons and matured a little bit as a team.
You just mentioned one of my questions was moving on, some of the guys going on loan. Do you feel that maybe it's only a small, minor factor with some of these young guys coming in now getting maybe their first taste of professional soccer? You think that plays a little bit of a part?
Yeah, there's nerves for sure, and there's, these kids come from such a good academy. We have such a good academy. They have so much confidence, so it's great to see them get their opportunities, and we know that they can do it. But it's the little details of being a professional versus being an academy player that they're still kind of adjusting, and I think over time they'll figure it out, and a lot of them will be really, really good players. But yeah, I mean, we have a really young team. Like, I think you can see it in some of the results, some of the reactions from the players. They don't really know what to do when we get in an awkward situation. They haven't really been in that position before where they have a level head on their shoulders. They're older, they've been here, they know what to do. It's okay, no problem. So you see a lot of overreactions at times that really affects the team. I think if we stay consistent, do what we got to do the whole time, we can get back into games. But you see an overreaction emotionally.
And I think, again, shout out to Mike Sheridan, because that's a perfect. Both those answers are great, and that was the thing, because he's given that first answer. I'm thinking to myself, well, the creation we've talked about, the creation hasn't been there since some of the guys have been loaned out, which again, that's part of how the union are going to do it. I know some people were like, hey, why are we loaning out all these players when they're at the top of the table? Well, again, that's not necessarily a bad thing. You want to get these guys that they've graduated from MLS Next Pro. We got to make sure we're bringing that next wave of kids in,
Yeah.
players in. So
We see like David Vasquez, he's crushing it, and
driving,
he's crushing it with San Diego. I mean,
yeah, I
which
mean,
so
good
much
for him.
so that I'm like, yeah, I'd be shocked if he comes back.
Right,
But
right. That's we'll
good
see.
for him. He's a good kid. But yeah, speaking of kids though, like yeah, Union too. It's a lot of 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds. Of course, Cavan's 15, but you have these teenagers that they're learning. Remember, these kids they're high school kids.
And
They
some barely are freshmen, but
yeah.
I think the thing that really stood out there is the fine details with some of these kids and being a professional. Ryan's talked about it too, the
Mhm.
emotional response when they get it. Like we saw it with Neil and even Mike. Like Neil's like, "What are you doing?" And Mike's like, "Well,
Yeah.
this is miscommunication." And I remember after that goal, and they're like, Neil's kind of like, look at Mike. Mike just came over. They're barking. Mike went over and shook his hand. It's like, "Hey, look, let's get back on the same page."
Yep.
So I think there's things like that where he's right. Those emotional responses. How do you handle it? So it is going to be interesting because he's right. There's talent here. These kids are very talented for their age. It's just going through those struggles and how they respond and learning from it. And I think Ryan said it, but eventually the kids gotta have to perform.
Yeah, and by the way, if you want to hear the full interviews, the audio with Mike Sheridan and with Ryan Richter, I do have them on the article I put out recapping the match on the oneteamweagreeon.com, so you can check it out because they both gave us a lot of really good stuff. So
They did,
I definitely encourage
and
you to check it
Mike
out.
did talk about, his
Talked about Pierce, yeah.
yeah. I have the clip here, but
It,
in the interest of time,
play it.
probably okay, we'll play it real
Yeah.
quick here.
Yeah.
Won't go into too much more. Also talks about kind of Saturday, but
Yeah, because I know a lot of people are wondering, hey, where's Mike Sheridan? Can he get here for the first team? He talks about what was going on
Yeah,
Saturday.
no, I feel terrible for Pierce. I mean, that's such a freak accident. He's a good kid, and he's worked really hard, and he deserved that opportunity. And he's one of my close friends on the team. So, I was talking to him right after. He was just trying to stay positive. He's a good guy. He's got a good head on his shoulders. I think he'll be okay, and he'll be back just fine. But yeah, sorry for the kid for sure. For me, yeah. I mean, yeah, I was expecting to be off today and tomorrow. So I was actually out in the city with my family for my birthday. And I get a call around 6:45. My phone starts blowing up. I get a call from one of the trainers. I get text from my teammates like, "Did you see what happened? Where are you? Can you come down?" It's like, oh boy. So I was in the middle of Center City. So from then, I was just excited. Like it's my turn. So I've been keeping my head down all year, working really hard, and the opportunity came. So I was just excited. It was no problem getting into game mode for me. I was just excited to play.
That's been a
Yeah. No, I feel terrible for people.
so no, I mean that's really revealing there from Mike again.
yeah.
Excellent answer. He talks a little bit more about it, but yeah, I mean, we had heard, he was kind of off because of his birthday, and
Yeah.
these freak things happen. But credit to Mike for being very like, hey, let's get going. And I'm glad we asked him that because he said he's been working all year for this opportunity, and
Second start this season.
so we'll see. He's going to get some more opportunities. It looks like moving forward. So hey,
Yep.
see how he does,
Yeah.
and excited for him.
Yep.
But moving on,
Now that we got the
first team out of the way.
the second team out of the way with
Yeah. So
with their less than stellar
let's
match.
talk about good things.
Yeah, so let's end with the more positive stuff.
Yeah. So hey, Union beat, and we talked about
They didn't
this.
just beat Chicago, as some of our friends know. They throttled Chicago.
They're all Chicago, but
They extinguished the fire. They, yeah,
can we just play the comment opening Bradley Cardinal opening?
Yeah.
David? So let's hear from Bradley.
yeah. Let's hear from him.
I just want to dedicate this clean sheet and victory to Pierce Holbrook. We give him the call up, and unfortunately, in the warm up, he goes down and buckles something on his knee. So we have no diagnosis as yet. I'm sure we'll give that in due course. But yeah, the guys, we're gutted for Pierce and wish him all the best. And yeah, Nate was our backup goalkeeper if needed. I've seen a lot of good games this year, and I think this is amongst one of the best games that I've seen, not just this year, but as a coach in general. I'm really proud of the guys. Guys took it to heart last week. I don't think we played badly. I just think that, the guys were determined to sort of tighten the screw and show a bit of a response here tonight. And I think, credit to the boys. They showed the response. Really happy about the way they went at it, not focusing on what's happening next month, next week, focusing on right in this present moment. So congrats to the boys and clean sheet. Very happy for Rick as well.
So let's first talk about that whole segment. Bradley said, "Hey, that was a great performance," and it was.
That one was fun. Let's be honest. That one, after some of the more recent games, that one, I said on the way down to the game, I was like, I would love to see just like a blowout.
But I think a couple things. First
Yeah.
off, you could tell right away. I mean, the Union come out and they're doing their usual, trying to create turnovers, opportunities like they've done all year. Bruno creates a turnover on former Union center back Jack Elliott.
Right in the first 30 seconds.
Right in the first 30 seconds goes right to Ty, which, again, he's probably not expecting that, and he shoots it wide. And as I wrote on my match recap, within the first 5 minutes, the Union had already had
two big chances,
and there's another one where Brady had to sprawl out as Chris Brady, the Chicago game. So Union came out and just were very relentless again, and
they were kind of pissed off about losing to Red Bulls, maybe, and
perhaps, But I also feel like, again, I thought that with this lineup, and we'll get to in a second, Milan Iloski was doing really good, paired up. I thought Quinn didn't have the greatest game, but even he was still doing good enough. It was maybe from his standards subpar, but it's still very good. But just the pressing, they were just making Chicago uncomfortable. And Chicago's one of these teams that they get out in transition on the wings, especially with Zuckernickel and Bamba, and then they can get into Kuipers there and then drop it in the midfield with Gutierrez. That's where they score 50 goals.
Yeah.
Like,
and Chicago's coming in really hot too.
I mean, they hadn't lost in 5 matches. Carnell talked about, they had scored more goals than the Union. This is a team that's fighting for a playoff spot. And so they were going to be hungry and just really impressive. So as that first half goes along, Union get on the score sheet. Well, actually, first, I mean, they get all those chances. Then Chicago, and we saw this a couple times this year, Chicago gets that shot that kind of deflects, and Rick just...
Yeah, he tapped it over. It was a nice save by him.
So right there was kind of an opportunity. Union then score with Ty Baribo.
He finally connects after a few missed opportunities.
And which is a great cross by Ty. He just runs right on, just taps it in past Brady.
He has a good knack for being there to tap it in.
Yeah. And you go to the half, and it's 1-0. And I said to a couple people up there in the press box, I said, that was a half where, again, and we've seen this all year, you kind of would like to see maybe another goal. I know Todd talked about on his podcast too.
Well, yeah.
And we were both talking about, this is a game again where you probably shoulda, coulda, woulda had a couple more goals. And we saw that against Toronto. And it's like, okay, let's see what they can do here in the second half. And sure enough.
Yeah, so.
Sure enough, in the second half, Chicago comes out, has that one chance right at the beginning. It kind of goes wide. Rick had the sprawl, and you're like, okay. And then, what's his name? I'll touch it. The one midfielder, great block from McKay, just unlucky, bounces out to the one midfielder. I forget his name, begins with an O. Anyway, he knocks it in off the post. And everybody's like and again, I think it was Scott who kind of looked at us at the end of the match and said, that game goes in. That could have changed the protection.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And now it's 1-1. What's happening? It's like, okay. So, again, my only criticism with that first 60 minutes is Could the Union maybe score another goal? Even if that goal goes in, they're still up 2-1. Maybe they get a little nervous, but they've done it for the most part, except for the last like halves, closing out matches. I think at times this year. I mean, when games are really tight, sometimes they've dropped some points
Mhm.
late. But hey, at the end of well, I will say this.
Yeah, you got yourself.
I did catch myself. That again, the first 60 minutes, and then you go on that scoring streak. You start off there with Kai and Milan,
You get this
eh,
free kick right at the top of the box there.
and you know,
And I
th
loaded that video on if you want to play it.
it didn't. Your videos once again did not show up.
Same.
We're gonna have to talk about that off there. Um,
Yeah, well, check my
because
Twitter if you want to see it. I mean, obviously you can see the videos anywhere, but I had a great vantage point from where I was to see that. And also Milan's goal I have on there too. But yeah, they Chicago sets up the wall and everything, and they have a player, laying down the ground, they do the whole thing, and then it kind of just, I don't know what, they messed that up because
well, here's the thing.
yeah,
Let's play Milan.
yeah,
Milan's
yeah,
goal.
great
Yeah,
look
well,
in.
the ball was on kind of on the left side, so naturally we were like looking down and thought, okay, like I was probably just gonna hit it directly because the wall would be placed on the left side. But then we looked up and we were like, what in the world are they doing? So we kind of called a little audible, and Kai was like, just roll it to the side a little bit, and I was like, yeah, 'cause there was a big gap for him to just hit it back across on the ground. So I'll give Kai the credit there for calling a little audible, and it worked out. So it was a big also moment in the game to go up another one and really put it away.
Yeah, so like Milan does that little tap to Kai, and Kai just blasts it.
Yeah, and so you go back and watch that. I mean, Chris Brady's on the other side, so I
Mhm.
don't know if they were expecting Milan to try to just go to that side and they were expecting that, or maybe think Kai would try to go to that side. I don't know what the thought was, but
You
it
see,
was,
Chris Brady was pissed.
yeah, I just think it was a miscommunication with how they were setting up
Yeah.
the wall and what they wanted to do. And yeah, you need to capitalize on a mistake. And then,
Yep.
like I had tweeted out in the match, that next 15 minutes, once they got that second goal, go up 2-0, then they kind
Oh,
of,
smelled blood in the water there.
well, they did. And credit to the Union, they kind of went out and took care of business. Danny Jean-Jacques with a very nice heads-up play to kind of
Yeah,
cash in.
yeah. Frankie has a great cross in there, and it kind of bounces off Ty, I think, first. And
It kind of bounces around a
it
little
bounced
bit,
around a little bit, and it was off Ty, and then it gets to Danley, and he like sidewinders that in. Like,
and
it was great.
so he gets another shot, and then at the end, like you talked about, Kevin kind of gets him. We all thought from him, Kevin had his first
It was
assist.
from the angle where I was seeing it. I didn't have a good view of like it deflecting off the defender
We all
from
saw it in the
Chicago.
press box. It was Kevin's first assist.
Yeah, I thought, and actually it came up like on the notifications
That
like
was
from MLS that it was an assist. And actually initially Frankie had it come up as an assist for him on
well, we
Danley's
both.
too.
I had to change some. I was up
Yeah.
there changing my.
I just changed my tweet. Because I was excited for Kevin there, and it's like, oh, but Kevin was key in setting that up for sure. But yeah, it deflected.
1000%.
Yeah, I mean, he did a good job there. And then I thought, yeah, he came on because sometimes he comes on and he's just getting like out physical sometimes because these are grown men he's up against sometimes. But no, I thought he did a decent job, and that was a good ball that gets deflected off a defender from Chicago. And Milan Iloski, he's up for goal of the week, by the way. Right now, he's not going to win probably
No.
because Sun's probably going to win that one. But
That was a blast.
I mean,
Yeah.
but I mean, Milan had just a heck of a game. What a pickup he's been. But that goal was fantastic. And I mean, Brady could do nothing. He just watched it go in.
I mean, yeah. So Union close out 4-0. After that goal goes in, you're just hoping.
Just for Rick to get that clean
she-
sheet, which he
yep.
did. Rick did a great job.
So for the Union now, 10 clean sheets. Both Blake and Andrew have 5 on the season, and that's what you want to see. And with 6 games left, here's hoping they get a couple more clean sheets on the season.
And we want to talk about also like, and I think you have the clip for it. Yeah, like Kai and Frankie.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a second. But what I
Yeah.
wanted to end with was, I really thought that overall on the evening, Carnell got the subs for the most part right.
Yeah.
But another big thing, and I know Todd talked about it, I had a couple people reach out to me too and ask, like, with Indy coming back,
Yeah, he's out with like concussion right now.
yeah,
Head
head
injury.
injury, yeah. Is Milan the true starter moving forward?
I mean, he's definitely making a case for himself right now. I mean, bringing in Indy like at later in the match as a sub, I think might be because he's just running at people.
Oh, absolutely.
You know.
And we know how I think Todd said it like Curtin loved Bedoya, Carnell loves Indy. And
Yeah.
Indy has a special skill set, but it kind of brought me back to another comment Carnell made, maybe it was this past week or the week before, where he talks about with Frankie and Nate on the right back situation being
Yeah.
matchup specific,
Yeah.
similar to with like Makanya and Nate,
Like what? Yeah.
just being matchup specific. And it got me thinking, would Carnell maybe do that with Milan and Indy
Could see that.
or just have some depth? So it's something to think about. Personally, I mean, you want to build chemistry going into playoffs. I
Hmm.
agree with that. But it's a nice problem for Carnell and his staff to have.
Hmm. He's got 4 quality strikers right there.
Is Milan
I mean,
Milan's
he's
not,
well, but
and Carnell even said that he's not a target striker. What is
no,
he?
he's got options there.
He does. Well, you can play Milan as a
Yeah.
striker.
But yeah,
You gotta have him set up right.
but I'm really liking him. I really like that lineup
I think I
Saturday.
do like that lineup from Saturday. I'd like to see maybe that lineup again on next Saturday against Cincinnati, see how they do and see how they kind of move forward with it.
Yeah.
But overall, thoughts on the match? Yeah, Frankie and Kai were phenomenal. Did see that both Milan and Kai were named team of the match day.
Yep.
So that's wonderful to see. But yeah, the job they did on the Zuckernagle and Bamba, just limiting their chances to create space. And I did ask Bradley about that because that was one of the things through the whole match that really stuck out at me
Hmm.
was that. And here's what he say.
Really good. I think even Kai, both of the outside backs to shut those guys down for 90 minutes is a tough ask. And then they bring some speed on the last line with Tom Barlow and what have you. And, just to the body checks, seeing balls run out of bounds and just to have the attitude and the positive arrogance of what it means to play here in Philly with the fans behind our back here at Subaru Park, and teams feel that, the opponent feels that. Every player I speak to after the games, and it's not just now, they know how tough this place is, and that's kind of what we pride ourselves on. Just being tenacious, showing the passion, what it means, and then that galvanizes us. It brings us together in order for the clean sheet and 3 points. I mean, yeah, 1 week it's going to go away, 1 week it might not, but we've shown a bounce back ability that's that says a lot for the group.
So a couple things there. He talks about the tenacity of being a tough place to play. We didn't see that in 2024. We're seeing it this year again.
Yes.
That, yeah, at times this, and he also said nothing. Some days it's going to go your way, some days it's not. I appreciated his response to that because I was phenomenal. I would still say Milan. I know for me, I thought Milan was a little bit better on the night, but both were excellent.
Yeah.
And you can't, it's 1A, 1B in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. Frankie, he and Kai just did such a great job of shutting down those sides. And by the way, if you want to see a great clip,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I know I posted it, Matt Doyle posted it. I think it was like the 93rd minute or so. It was you know, Acosta, he basically kind of pushes Frankie down there and Frankie gets him. He's just laughing, and it was just like the mood of it. He's just like laughing. I'm like, yeah, that's and then Berhalter, they should go to Berhalter and they're like, and he's not so happy.
No.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, Speaking of Berhalter, when they announced Chicago,
Uh,
oh, the boos. I mean, normally they say, sucks and there's boos and stuff. Yeah, it was pretty loud for Berhalter. For Jack Elliott, though, with his homecoming, a lot of people cheered him. So that's
yeah, I
good.
thought they could have done a little bit
They
better.
didn't do like a whole like montage like they did for
I
Godfather.
was kind of like,
They just and I posted kind of the clip there. I guess that clip didn't come through. But just they kind of recognized him when they were getting
I wish I
started.
would have done a clip, but that's just my personal
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah. They could.
Um, but another thing, he talks about the belief and just this team's vibes. And w- one thing, two things I want to end with. First off, I want to give a shout about with Milan. First, I want to talk. I know Todd brought it up, so I won't play that clip if you've listened to his episode, and it's in my article too, what Milan said. But Evan, who was in the press box on Saturday night, asked Milan about playing with different teams, and Milan actually revealed that, when he left UCL, went with RSL, that he was kind of getting tired of the politics and almost quit.
Yeah, he
And he
almost quit
went
soccer.
and now he's kind of found that renewed energy. And, he kind of wanted to, after he didn't sign with San Diego long term, kind of went back to Europe. He wanted to come back and
Yeah.
play for a contender. And he chose Philly. But you talk about the culture and the belief. We've heard this. Mikel Lewis said it, maybe it was 22 or 23, about the locker room, the culture,
Yeah.
and the belief. Um, Indy spoke it with Todd in his interview about how the culture was here. Carnell just equated this.
Yeah.
And in another question, he says this team's easy to play with, and
Yeah.
and that got me kind of thinking. Like, I was sitting there waiting, and I kind of wanted to ask him, like, hey, why is this team easy to play for? And it's been around, and so here was his response.
I think the group is like really tight knit. I mean, a lot of teams in MLS, I don't think are maybe they are, but I don't think they are like that. And so for me, coming in, you can feel it right away. The team competes so hard in training every day. From everyone in the roster, no matter who you are, it's everyone's got the same responsibility. And guys like Kai and Jacob are pushing the group on a Wednesday when they don't have to. And to see that as a player coming in, it sets a level. And then you see guys like Cavan and other second team players or guys who maybe aren't playing, they're also pushing the level. So the whole group makes it easy to want to compete with and want to play with.
Yeah, and I can speak from, the small amount of practice time I would see, but I went down to practice like once a week all summer, and you can tell like the vibes are good there. Like they really do enjoy working out together. The vibes are really good with the team, and they just have built great team chemistry, and Bradley has done a fantastic job with that. Like the staff has done a tremendous job, and they have some great leaders within that locker room for sure.
I think for Milan, that's one of the reasons you signed with the
Yep.
Union. I mean, obviously they're a contender, that helps, but
Yeah.
yeah, that part as well. So that was a really great response, and I'm
Mhm.
glad, hey, you got to talk about that. Um, but yeah, love to hear your guys' thoughts on the match. Before we wrap up and get out of here, I did want to talk finally about the you know, upcoming match. They're playing FC Cincinnati, and then Union to play FC Cincinnati too on Sunday.
Yeah.
This window, and I was talking with Todd on the way home about this. This is an opportunity now on the road against a team that, you talk about transfer windows. I mean, Chris Albright, credit to him. He brings in, brings back Brenner.
Hmm.
Um, and they bring in some other help to kind of make that, MLS Cup run, support shield run. I mean, credit to them. They do that. This is gonna be an interesting match, whether or not they play. That Union had some luck there. They win early in the year against them when they were in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. They win 4-1 at home. But this is going to be a big match, and this is
Indeed.
going to be a big, difficult match. And this is a match I kind of said that if you're Cardinal, you kind of got to go for it, because the next time you're going the road against Vancouver, and that's not going to be an easy trip, because then after that, guess what? you got New England. I mean, not New England. We have New England coming up after that, but and they're up and down. But
Yeah.
then you also have the U.S. Open Cup sprinkled in there, so there's going to be rotation.
Yeah.
So I do want to see. I'm curious to see what the lineup's going to look like. But hey,
Yeah.
get a point. 3 points would be amazing, but get a point,
Mhm.
and then take care of business. Next, I mean, they got them and Vancouver, and that's the last set of five before they hit into the final block of four for the end of the season. So, hey, I mean, they're at 4 points now. I said five. We'll see what happens, but 2 points, great. Even if they lose, like I was telling Todd, like, okay, they lose this match, you gotta go get three. You know, if they can get a 3 point, that really would be huge. But yeah, I mean, you look at all these teams in MLS, and it's going to be a tight race to the Shield. But hey, look, at the end of the day, the Union are there. Yes, I know.
That's three.
But it's true. They're
Yeah.
there, and it's been an exciting season. And where we were in February, January this year, thinking, oh my gosh, it's going to be well, what's going to happen? You know, there was a lot of unknowns, and we kept saying, keep an open mind, see how things are going. Hey,
Hmm.
I was saying, who was I saying? In the press conference, I was like, they're at 54 points.
Yeah.
They're tied for the second most. They're 1.55 is like kind of behind 2022, where they were at 67 points. You know, right there is one of, best teams. But I know cups count. So they're going to go for the cups
Hmm.
and they're going to make a push. And I just would love to see them walk out a TQL stadium with 3 points. But again, if they walk out with a point, I'll be just as happy.
Yeah. Yeah. If they can get like, 4 points out of between Cincinnati and Vancouver, hey, that would be fantastic.
Honestly, I would take between those two, I'd take 2 points.
Yeah.
So that would give them six.
They need to at least get a point in each of those.
Hey,
But
if they walk out of this block of five with 5 to 7 points, I'm fine with that because yeah, you're still gonna have a red hot who's playing great soccer. They're winning like 1-0 games in Charlotte. They're on
Mhm.
like some another like kind of they're on a hot run. DC,
Well, they
pencil.
just drew Miami, which
But
is
DC also is
yeah.
at that weird time. I
Yeah.
believe it's gonna fall if Union beat Nashville. It falls right on where that window who they
Mhm.
would play in the final. So there's gonna be rotation
Yeah.
there. And New England's just been like Jekyll and Hyde. Like the one week
Yeah.
look like they're gonna be a tough little draw, and then next week they go and
Mhm.
lose somebody they shouldn't lose to. And then finally, NYCFC is just one of those teams that's really good. They're sneaky good.
Mhm.
They're another sneaky good team that they don't do a lot, and they'll have like loss where like, oh, that should have been a loss, but then they go out and beat Cincinnati on the road, 1-0.
Yeah, actually.
So,
That helped the Union.
so again, I think the last block of four is going to be good, but just sticking with the block five, this is going to probably be their two toughest challenges coming up here, and then with the U.S. Open Cup as well. So it'll be interesting to see. And then for Union 2, hey, I mean, FC Cincinnati 2 is down this year, but it's MLS Next Pro and it's on the road, so anything can happen. But
They beat him on the road earlier,
yeah,
but that was, I believe, that was the other game that Mike Sheridan was in goal
and
and
Alex scored his
Alex
very first.
scored. That was his first match. Yeah.
So we'll see. But anyway, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Again, just a programming note, we might be back later this week with a guest. Not sure yet. It's either gonna be then or we got like one or two guests lined up here. Um, not like match specific. We'll have some articles coming out this week with travel. But as for next week, not sure. I'm going to be out at a coaches convention in Nevada. So
Yep.
I will not be there. I will be at the Las Vegas Lakes Lexington match on Saturday to see a few former Union players for Lexington and for Vegas.
Mhm.
Union 2 player for Vegas.
Mhm.
Um, But so that'll be fun. But
Mhm.
yeah, we might do a virtual recording.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. But anyway, thank you for tuning in. And yeah, but regardless, we'll have articles out and we'll be covering stuff as normal.
Yep. So, and as always, we appreciate, everyone who has been tuning in and leaving us comments and engaging with us because that's always fantastic and reading our stuff. Like, that makes it all worth it, that if people are finding, um, these things helpful, enjoying reading them, yeah, we appreciate it.
Yeah, and again, interact, comment. We'd love to hear from you guys. So, uh, and until next time, I'm Kyle,
I'm Jillian.
and we'll see you at the game.